to the Rookie Critic YouTube channel, where film roams free. So, in the last video, I was talking about Star Wars The Last Jedi, and in this video, I'm talking about it as well. I don't know where the hell I was or where I left off. I'm just recording right away, and just going to talk about whatever starting now. This is probably a criticism that you don't hear too often, but I hated the sound quality in the film. And it's not just me. I forced my mom to watch it too, because she hasn't seen it, and recently had her watch it, and it was free on Netflix, so I'm not going to go actually buy it. Had her watch it with me. It took us over 3 hours to actually finish the movie. It took a long time, because we had to pause it and, decompress how ridiculous it was. But, the sound, like, when people are talking, the music is really loud sometimes, especially on Luke's planet. That stuff is, on Octu, is like really loud. They're talking and there's music playing over them. And the cuts, the continuity, like, my mom's not a huge film person. She liked the original trilogy, but she only really remembers the first Star Wars movie, The New Hope. That's the only one she really remembers, really, and doesn't... She watches movies and films and likes some stuff, doesn't like some stuff. She doesn't think too hard about it. But while she's watching this movie, she's just like, okay, this editing is really ridiculous. What are they doing? Why are they doing this? The sound is crazy. The dialogue sounds like they're, talking away from the camera, so you can still kind of hear them, but you can't clearly hear them, Alright, and I'll talk more about that kind of thing in a future video where I actually gather all my stuff, but I'm going to shift it over to something else now. Something that really bugs me is when people just say that, oh, it's just a film. This isn't just to do with Star Wars The Last Jedi, this is with film in general. When people say that it's just a movie, film isn't all that important, it's just whatever, or it's aimed for kids, it doesn't matter. Well, you know what? In the modern day, film is very important because it does help actually influence people. You can ask so many people on the planet about Star Wars. Star Wars is one of the most recognizable brands. It's one of the only films to actually kind of affect culture, like affect people, like as they grow with life lessons and how they deal with real life based on the movie. I mean, it's crazy, because that's actually something that actually affects it. Star Wars kind of also shaped me, not in the same way as it would other people, where you just, take all the lessons that they teach in the movie, but it affected my imagination, affected my writing abilities, my storytelling skills, my reading abilities. I didn't like a lot of books when I was a kid. I was a reader, but I didn't like, when I got into middle school and when I was in middle school, there wasn't a lot of books that I wanted to read, but luckily I had a bunch of Star Wars books. I was really into Star Wars. My buddies would go to Barnes & Noble sometimes. I was like, why do you go into Barnes & Nobles? Well, they'd get Star Wars books. They had a huge Star Wars section full of Star Wars books. So eventually that caught my eye, and that got me back into reading. I was, and that helped drive my creativity to try to make my own stories, to try to write. When teachers would ask me to write just like a 3-paragraph thing, or 1 page or 3 pages, you bet you I'd make that like 10 pages. I would take a lot of time into thinking about a bunch of details, and a lot of that has to do with Star Wars. I have a lot of old Star Wars, I guess you can call them fan fictions, from when I was like in 5th grade going into middle school, where my imagination was running very wild. Yeah, I've looked at some of them, and they are atrocious and bad. I'm not going to say that they are better than The Last Jedi, because technically I'd say they're almost equal in how bad they are, but like, I would insert myself and my friends into the story, but that was one of the seeds of my imagination to get me to where I am now. If it wasn't for my creativity with that, and my trying to world build and use what I know to make something else that's from Star Wars, and then try to implement other things into it, that started a huge creativity streak for me, and now I love writing. Writing is one of my best subjects. I love to write, I love to talk, I love to present, I love to make formats, I love to make new worlds, I like to make, things like that. So one of these days I'm going to probably do a rewrite of The Force Awakens, but not the typical type of rewrite that a lot of people do. I'll give information on that later in the future, and hopefully that'll be done at some point, and I have bigger plans than just making it a simple book. I want to do a little bit more with it, but I don't know if I can, but we'll see. Anyway, kind of got a little bit off topic again, but And I don't want me to seem like me complaining about the movie means that I want to have all these arguments and violence with other people or anything. No. I don't blame the actors. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to cause anybody any harm. I don't want any harm to become of them. I don't like how Rian Johnson seems to react to people's dismay about a movie. When somebody says that, I don't like something, like I like to use restaurants as an example. If an owner of a restaurant, is treating you bad, like if a customer says, I didn't really get good service, and then they say, oh, you didn't like my shit? Well, you're a fucking racist, you're a bigot, you're blah blah blah, and I still expect you to pay for stuff and give me money. The customer's just going to walk away. They're not going to come back ever again. It's like you're deliberately trying to lose customers. I know that it probably sucks to get a lot of people saying that your movie sucks and it's horrible and it's awful and blah blah blah. I'm not saying that that's easy. That probably sucks to hear that. But you could also, maybe just go, okay, well, wow, I'm sorry that you guys feel that way. I apologize. I don't know. You don't have to, ask for forgiveness or anything. You don't have to go and defend yourself completely on why you did it. You could just say, I thought I was making a really good movie. I thought by taking the risks that I did that it would work, but apparently those were bad risks. A lot of people do like them though. Again, so, I'm okay if you like the movie. It's like, I'm not religious, but I don't hate people that are religious. People, I can not like the Star Wars movie, and other people can like it, and we're okay. People that like the movie and don't like the movie should be able to shake hands, share their disagreements with it. There's going to be some points that ones feel is more valid than others and whatever, but then we should just be able to go have a freaking beer. Just like Republicans and Democrats. They should be able to just, shake hands, have their disagreements about whatever, but at the end of the day, we're all people and just go have a beer, go have some fun. Don't let that stuff like make you so angry that you are driven to violence or want to hurt somebody or just, can't even listen to them. You're closing your ears. No, I don't want to listen. No, just, it's okay. Like, and if people, were to comment on this and say that they love the movie and whatever, that's fine. But when you start insulting other people all the time, like in this whole thing, I'm not trying to insult people that like the film. I'm not trying to say that they're bad people. I'm not trying to say that they're prone to violence. I'm not saying that they're prone to just being rude to people. Though a lot of reactions on YouTube do make me think that, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Just like how when they claim that we're all toxic, racist, sexist, all this other crap, enough of that. Enough with the insulting of people that don't like it. What the hell is the point of that? That doesn't get us anywhere. That doesn't make it all better. If you think that Star Wars is going to prosper with reacting so negatively to criticism, then Star Wars is going to fail. I mean, hell, I've made some things. I've made things on my channel, some skits and stuff, and those probably aren't that good. Those definitely aren't that good. I wouldn't expect them to be that good. For what they are, I would say that they are good, but overall, no, they're not good at all. But, I can take criticism. In fact, I ask for criticism. I say, what would you suggest that I do? And criticism isn't saying, your thing fucking sucks. It's, well, you could do this to help improve. That's how criticism works. And when people ask, why don't you like the movie? Why don't you like The Last Jedi? People try to come up with answers, but then when they get told the answers, they don't like the answers that they're hearing. They're like, oh, you're just a baby. You're just a, whatever. You can't hate it. You just can't deal with strong women. And that really gets under my skin sometimes because there's so many properties that show women being strong characters and strong women and men in the same things being equally as decent without shoving things down your throat. Like, I personally want to see more diversity in films. I do want to see more women in prominent roles. I want to see some of that stuff just because that's different. That's not always what's in a whole bunch of movies. But when you shove it down people's throats and tell people basically that because there's black people in it, that you must like it, otherwise you are racist, then you're being the fucking asshole. When Black Panther came out, and it had like the 99%, and because it dropped from like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, people were pissed for some reason. They're like, oh, how dare you? This is such an important thing for black culture and all that. And okay, no. like, personally, I watched the movie, and I didn't hate it. I liked the movie, but I'm not thinking, oh wow, this is so great that all these black people get to be in the movie. I'm looking at it as, this is a movie that I'm watching, and where's my enjoyment level? I'm not thinking about the color of their skin, because that's not important to me. What does that matter? I'm not saying I don't see color. Clearly they are black in the Black Panther. I mean, I don't understand how when they call someone racist for not fully liking something that someone of color made or that a woman was in. I don't understand how they call them racist. It makes no sense, because we're not judging based on whether or not they have a vagina or what color of skin they have. We're judging based on the quality of the plot, the character, story, other elements, not based on that simple stuff that the people that defend this keeps on reverting back to. They keep on going back to it. It's ridiculous. Like Rey, I want Rey to be the main character of this new Star Wars trilogy. That's fine with me. That's completely fine. But she has to be interesting, and some people would argue that she is interesting. And if some little girls look up to her, that's totally fine with me. Little girls are allowed to look up to them. That's totally cool. If they like it, then that's great. But you can't expect everyone else to like it, or else be called an asshole if you don't like it. It makes no sense. I was really going somewhere with this, but I kind of lost train of thought because I got a text. But, oh yeah, now I remember. I was about to list some properties that actually feature a lot of strong female characters without shoving down your throat that they're strong female characters, and they don't dumb down any of the male characters. They play everybody as equal. Women use their sexuality sometimes to get things, but that's part of what a woman can be. They can use it. It works. Alright, let's just list them. Spartacus, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Arrowverse, Star Wars, the original Star Wars and the prequels, Lord of the Rings, Terminator, Alien, Dark Angel, Game of Thrones, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Castle, Tremors, Alien vs. Predator. Remember there was a black female character that was one of the last ones to survive and fought a freaking alien queen? Wonder Woman. Yeah, she wasn't hairy, fat, and a lesbian or whatever. She was a normal woman who was strong on an island and was innocent, but she was Gal Gadot and an awesome Wonder Woman. Even Taxi, even the movie Taxi with Jimmy Fallon has what I would call somewhat strong female characters. Four extremely hot Brazilian women are the villains of the thing, and they, use their beauty to have other people be distracted and underestimate them while they go about their stuff. People don't suspect that they would be the criminals. I kind of count that in a way. And then even Power Rangers. Constantly, since the beginning, the middle of the 90s, they constantly have strong female characters, people of color, all the time. They had the Alien Rangers at the end of Season 3 of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The leader was a female. They had 2 black people on there. But you know what? They don't focus on the fact that she is a female and that she is better than men, or that the black guys are there and they're better in some way. No. It's like everybody, white, black, whatever, is on an even playing field. It doesn't matter. It's just the character traits of who they are is what matters. In Spartacus, there's people from all over the world, different types of people. It doesn't matter. If anything, they judge based on where you're from rather than who you are, than what you look like. You could be black, white, brown, whatever. They don't care. It depends on where you hail from. If you're from Thrace, you're a Thracian dog. You're from Gallia, then you're a little, brute douchebag or something. That's how they kind of see you. That's how they thought of you, which isn't right either. But in that show, they also have one of the main characters who's gay, but they don't shove down your throat that he's freaking gay. I was actually kind of confused that he was gay at one point. I was just like, oh wait, because he starts making out with a dude at some point, and I was like, oh, what the heck? Oh, I didn't know that. But they don't make his character extra prissy. They don't make him, demanding it. They don't make that a focal point of his character. That's just, he's just in love with that person, and that's what matters. It doesn't matter. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there are dozens of strong female characters. A lot of them get captured. A lot of them get their asses kicked. A lot of them get physically beat up all the time. But they get back up and they come back strong. They learn things. Some of them use their intelligence to be good, but it's not about outclassing the guys. A lot of times the guys are better than the girls. A lot of times the girls are better than the guys. And I'm only saying that like that because that seems to be what people that bring up this issue all the time want to hear or something. I don't know. I don't think about that. I'm just thinking about the characters that I'm watching, the team, the people that I'm just watching. They are what matters. The characters matter. The story matters. I feel like I've been repeating myself for the last 5 minutes, so I'm going to change the subject. And anyway, railing it back to The Last Jedi a little bit more. The Last Jedi was a Star Wars movie that came out. It was the 8th installment, and not a lot of people liked it. Some people that like it, it's okay that you do. We aren't mad. People that don't like it, we just want to see some good quality stuff. And instead of, we don't expect the people at Lucasfilm to bend to our will. We just want them to listen. Is listening that hard? You don't have to do everything we say or else we'll break your knees or anything. No, we just want you, we're voicing our concerns. Hey, we don't like what you did with Leia, we don't really like what you did with Luke, you know, and we're just throwing it out there, and they could just take it, okay, that's good, thank you for letting us know, instead of deflecting it back with, oh, you're toxic, evil, but I'm about to get started again. And don't get us wrong, we still love Star Wars. And don't get us wrong, we still love Star Wars, but we just want to see it do better. If we didn't care about Star Wars, then many of us wouldn't be making videos like this. The High Council would not have made as many videos as they do. Doomcock wouldn't passionately rant about how he feels about the industry and what's going on and how people care about these properties that we care about too. Film is important in modern society. It is part of what shapes us. It is part of what we do. It is part of how we raise our kids in ways. It is essential. It is crucial. Even if something is aimed for kids, that does not give you an excuse to throw shit on the screen and say, it's for kids, who gives a shit? And when people go, oh, it's just a sci-fi thing, well, you know, and why are you using facts and logic in the sci-fi movie? Because the original trilogy established what works and how gravity works, how reality works. When they open a door in space, people get sucked out. And then in this one, they just ignore that, and then it opens the door and people come in. That's not because we need it to be scientifically accurate. The original trilogy established what that is. The prequels continued that. And then in this, they just ignore it. That breaks the universe's rules. If in Lord of the Rings, they establish what they do in the Fellowship of the Rings, and then in the Two Towers, all of a sudden Frodo grows moth wings and flies to Mordor and drops the ring in the volcano, that's a problem. That's an issue. People will have it. I think Mahler was trying to use this type of example, like if he didn't use this exact example, but this is one I'll come up with. If in the Star Wars Episode 9, a My Little Pony comes rolling across the screen, flying at the screen, shits on the screen, spells with its tongue Star Wars, giggles, and says, enjoy the movie, will you just go, that makes sense, that works. It's not a realistic movie, it's a sci-fi space wizard movie, so that's okay. Or would you kind of go, I kind of have a problem with that? Yeah, you kind of would. And if they established that gravity doesn't work the way gravity does in the universe, or that, space doesn't work the way that space works in the universe, then we'd voice our issues. I mean, we can admit that the spectacle of explosions and sound in space make it good. And they established in the original ones how else space basically works. And then in these, when they ignore it, it's kind of stupid. I feel like I've said enough. I think that there's a bunch more that I want to say, but it looks like my camera is dying again, and these videos are long enough, and I've ranted a little bit long enough, and I did not mean for it to be a rant. I don't want to be known as a ranter, or one that goes on that. I like to be more collected and just express my thoughts, but then again, I'm recording this whole thing without a script, which I usually love to stick to a script, so you get what you get. I don't know. That's my thoughts on The Last Jedi. I hope I didn't come off as a whiny incel baby, fanboy tears, whatever bullcrap insults that you're going to throw at me anyway, but whatever. Have a lovely day, everybody, and may Episode 9 be something worthwhile, but I completely doubt it.
If you liked the video, please leave a like, or if you hate it, click dislike. Also, share the video with your friends and enemies, subscribe to follow this channel, and hit that bell down below to be notified when I upload.